Hello, I am arguing Carl's claim, and his claim is that the greenhouse effect has become increasingly worse because of human impact. The secondary claims that he used to support this was that everyday products do more damage than people think. And some examples of this, the examples that he gave were air conditioning and ventilation, which burn gas, and electricity being the largest source of CO2 emissions, and automobiles, because they become a necessity to commute and more gases have been in the atmosphere. His second claim was that excessive deforestation impacts the greenhouse effect due to the interest of land by humans. And his third claim was that burning fossil fuels in the industry has the highest effect on the greenhouse effect, and that since the Industrial Revolution, carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has increased dramatically. And another one of his third claims is that coal creates amounts of carbon dioxide that are often neglected. His first claim that everyday products do more damage than people think. His claim doesn't describe all everyday products and left out the production cost that is required to produce those products. He only thinks about the cost that the CO2 emissions that the products create once they're produced, once you're using them. And when he was talking about electricity, he failed to mention that the CO2 emissions could be greatly reduced, cut down by 100 times if there was a switch to nuclear power instead of using coal energy. His second claim was that deforestation impacts the greenhouse effect due to interest of land by humans. However, his claim fails to account for the replanting of plants, which, according to the EPA, can lessen the impact of CO2 emissions. This is because planting new, young, fast-growing trees will remove more carbon dioxide from the atmosphere than it will release. And as such, it can offset the damage done by deforestation. His last claim, which was that burning fossil fuels in industry has the biggest effect on the greenhouse effect. Though it may be true, he fails to account that most of that. It's true, but most of that is coal, which is used to produce electricity, which can easily be reduced if there is a switch to nuclear power, and thus lower the effects of greenhouse gases. Okay. And lastly, I'd like to say that I think his claim should have been changed to. Oh well, this is the claim I'm saying. As such, I think the claim should be switched to the greenhouse effect is increasing, but it can be easily reduced by human impacts.
All right, well, you labeled the claims and the secondary claims pretty clearly. That goes on a long time. It seems like you've got a lot of summary that's going on. And then once you get to those points, we get some additional summary. So I think you're spending a lot more time reminding us of what the advocate's arguments are than you need to. On the first point, you bring up a cost issue, but you don't explain how the cost issue is relevant to the impact on the greenhouse effect. That was not clear. It didn't make any sense to me. The rest of the argument on that first point was just a kind of a summary again. So I think that's a little bit problematic. You have a clear movement to the second point. You've got a counterclaim on the replacement plants and trees, and I think that's okay. There's a part of it that's missing, though. That what you need to show is that that's happening at a fairly substantial amount, so that we are in fact replacing the trees that are being removed at equitable or even amounts that exceed the amount of trees that are being removed. I think that would make that argument a lot stronger. Transition to the third point is signposted very clearly, and basically you're kind of presenting the nuke power alternative. I guess that's a way to try and diminish the claim. If this was a policy argument, this would be a minor repair on the present system, a way to reduce the impact here. I'm not sure why you accept the notion that an impact exists in the first place, but once you've accepted the premise that the impact exists, minimizing it using a variety of approaches I think is perfectly fine, but it doesn't deny the link that the advocate has presented, and in fact, it's premised on the link that the advocate presented, that we need some alternative because coal and the fossil fuels are so bad. So, you know, in essence, it's taking that point and saying, it's true, that's why we should do something else. At the end, it sounds like you're offering a critique instead of trying to diminish the significance of the advocate, and I thought that that was a little confusing, and I think everybody was a little confused because they weren't sure that you were done. All right, thank you.